look who we have back. So if you don't have socks on already and you want to practice with socks like we did on Tuesday, or if you're like, what is she talking about with the socks? Put some on if you don't have a carpeted floor. If you have a mat that's like a Lululemon mat that has that smooth surface, you could also practice with that. One of our yogi people, Jessica, told me she did that on Tuesday and it worked pretty well for her. You could also skip the socks and still maintain this practice and do it. You don't necessarily have to have socks, but it does make it a little bit more fun with some of the work we're going to do. So if you did take class on Tuesday, we're going to kind of build on to that. With that said, though, again, you don't have to have done that class to do this. It's just you might be a little bit more like, wow, this is really fast. We break it down a little slower on Tuesday's class. So you can always check that out as well if you'd like to do that. We're going to get started by just standing, right? So I'm going to do hips width distance. You could also do legs together and kind of work towards that center point. But just give yourself a moment to feel grounded. We're going to work into the floor a little bit more today, feeling out the feet and kind of trying to work in a way that we're really staying connected with the earth through our movements rather than just lifting up a leg, unless you're not using socks. So giving yourself some time just to feel the breath, maybe to center yourself around an intention you'd like to create, and just becoming mindful. I'm going to place my hands on the bottom lowest ribs to access the fullness of that space in my breathing. You could do it from the front, the side, or the back side of the chest. And what we're looking for eventually with this, it doesn't have to happen right away in the beginning of class, but you're going to try to maintain the fullness and the movement of your rib cage while also zipping up this front line, like think like from pubic bone to the V of your rib cage, sliding up and in. So we're really supporting all the movements we take, but not losing our breath. You're always welcome to bring movement into it too. Like I love to move and kind of shift my weight around. Let's see if we can just figure out a breath together, get on the same page. Let's exhale everything out. Take a big breath in. And a big exhale. Good, do it again. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, empty. Now hold this breath out. Pull your low abdominals back and in. Take a big breath in without losing it. And then again, a big breath out. And at the bottom of your breath, keep drawing your low belly in. Do it again, breathe in. Breathe out. Low belly scoops. One more, biggest breath yet. And exhale. Good, wherever your arms are, you can drop them. Let your head go right and left. Shrug the shoulders up and down. Just give yourself a little bit of movement to get into the space. We're gonna play with a little bit of movement in the feet. So you're just gonna simply lift up the heel of one foot. You can do whatever one you want, and then pop it up to the toe and bring it back down. We're gonna do that on the other side. Lift up the heel, pop the toe, bring it back down. And you can land with a little bit of a bend in the knee too. Pop it up and pop it down. Yeah, so just kind of rolling through the feet so you can feel what coming to the metatarsal is, to the ball of the foot, and then the point of the foot, and then back down. It's a little bit more isolated. Bring a little bend in between. So we're getting a little bit more movement going, but when you bend your knees, make sure they're staying in line with your toes. Yeah, and you can go slower than me, you can go faster. You're just gonna keep shifting your weight onto one foot to the other. Let's try to just speed it up a little bit and see if we can build some heat with it. Nice. Hyena said she loves you.
I love her too.
Okay, come to a stable stance. We're gonna bend both knees and let your knees pull forward of the toes. So we're getting a little bit more into the back line of the calf and the Achilles tendon. And then you're gonna lift up the heels and you're gonna bring down the heels. So you're gonna stay in the bend of the knee. So rock your weight back, forward, heels up, heels down, back, forward, heels up, heels down. Do it again, back, forward, heels up, heels down, back, forward, heels up, heels down, come all the way up. Now let's do some heel raises or releves for those of you that are from a dance background. Heels up, heels down, heels up. And you can soften the knees a little bit too in this one, but try to lock them out. Don't push back into the knee. You can keep doing this or switch to one foot, which is a little harder. You can always hold onto the wall, a chair, your partner.
Man, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it does. Almost done with one foot. We're gonna switch to the other. Whew. Okay, let's switch feet. Whew. The dogs don't know that we're doing yoga because we don't have mats down. So get ready for them to like probably come into frame a bunch. You feeling it yet?
Yeah, this side's weaker.
Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay, cool. Bring it down, shake it out. Hopefully you're feeling your legs now. We're gonna take a bend in the knee just to get grounded again. Inhale, arms out and up, or forward and up. And then exhale, fold all the way down. So first fold of the practice, definitely lean into movement. I like to cross over and kind of get my side body moving from my outer hip line. Callie's looking really cute behind us. She's giving you guys her best sassy pose. Okay, come back to neutral. Bend the knees enough to where you can put your hands flat on the ground. And Callie might have to move for this, but we'll see how it goes. We're gonna do our pushbacks with the socks like we did on Tuesday. So you might have to move your feet a little farther from your hands to make it more accessible, but if you're good where you are, you're gonna push and slide your feet back to a plank pose, and then you're gonna pull your legs back in. So your feet don't have to get super close to your hands, but you do wanna have your hands flat in that plank position. So lean forward, push your legs back, round through the low spine, and then pull them back in. Keep going. You can go a little faster if you want, but make it controlled. You wanna use your low belly, and you don't wanna lose your breathing while we do this. Feel the floor, and make sure you can really put pressure into the full palm. Let's do 3 more. One more. Let's hold this plank. Good, bring your knees down, lower all the way down. So spread through the feet, your legs can be separate or together, but let's do tops of the toes down. You're gonna lift your chest up about halfway for Cobra. So you can definitely use your arms for this, but also giving yourself some time to figure out the back muscles, right? If you're only using your arms, notice if you can find a little bit more of that strength behind you. Take another breath. Exhale, lower down, push up to your knees, tuck the toes, and let's take down dog. So with socks, if you are on a hardwood floor or something that's more slippery, your down dog might be more comfortable, shorter, but play with that distance. You still wanna find the work between the hands and the feet. So if you're really feeling forward in your arms, try to shorten it and see if that helps. Play with the bending of the knees, all that stuff. We're gonna roll through a few sun salutations to get things moving. Take an inhale, push the ground away. Exhale, look forward, slide to your hands. Good, take a halfway lift. Exhale, hang heavy. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, fold right down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hang. Push back through the feet, round through the low belly. Let's pull forward if you haven't gotten there yet. Chaturanga this time, halfway. Back bend with your up dog or your cobra. Take your time through the first round of this. And then lift back to down dog. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale, slide to the top. Halfway lift. Hang heavy. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, weight in the hands. Slide back. Chaturanga, halfway. Maybe use the knees. Come to cobra for your back bend or your up dog. And then go back to down dog. Keep going. Inhale, push the ground away. Exhale, slide. Half lift. Use your hands where they are comfortable. Exhale. Stand up, tallest spine yet. Fold on your exhale. Halfway lift. Lengthen spine, prepare it, move it. Chaturanga. And again, back to down dog. And you can move at your own pace. Remember, we're just going for it on our breath. Use your breath. Half lift should be engaged from palms to feet all the way through the whole thing. Right, longest spine you have. Fold down. Halfway lift. You can keep looking forward. Lean into that movement. One day that will be a press-up handstand. Let's do our last one. Push the ground away. Pull in. Half lift. Hang heavy. Stand up. Fold down. Half lift. Prepare. Push. Biggest breath yet. Inhale. And then exhale. Down dog. Okay, pause for a few breaths. You can move it, right? Take things that feel good to you. Yeah, so I like to explore kind of like outside of that forward to back, kind of going to the circular planes. Okay, let's take the right leg. You're gonna keep the foot on the ground. You're gonna slide it back, bend your left knee towards your chest, and try to lengthen from the hands. On your next breath, you're gonna pull forward, knee towards your chest. Go back. Inhale, lengthen it to the ground. You're using the floor. Exhale, pull it towards your chest. Push the ground away. Pull it in, hold it. Step the foot through. So what's nice with socks is you can kind of slowly slide the feet apart if that distance hasn't quite gotten long enough. We're gonna drop the back knee down. Keep the back toes tucked. If you need something underneath this knee, go ahead and grab a pillow or something extra so you feel like you're supported there. We're gonna inhale the arms up. You can keep hands here. You can take the butterfly grip. You could do full palm. We're gonna allow this to sweep a little bit later. So this is just to give you some time to hold, understand it, feel it out, dissect it a bit. The low belly will lift. And as you kick this front foot down, slide the hip back a tiny bit just to make sure that we're not splaying open. Take the inhale. On your exhale, bring your hands down. You're gonna push your hips back in space, take a half split, but you can sit more towards the heel behind you as long as your knees are safe. So essentially, instead of being in a 90-degree angle in the back leg, if you're feeling okay and you don't need something for the knee, which you can always grab if we need it, you're just gonna let that ball of the back foot stretch with the length of that right leg. Yeah. You could adjust to, like Gavin, just lift it off of it a little bit or come forward more. Take another breath there. We're gonna lean into the front lunge. Put your hands, tent the fingers, lift the back knee, slide your foot forward, together or hips width. You're gonna take an inhale, lengthen the arms out to the sides, let your left leg slide out, stay low in your spine and long, and you're gonna shift your weight. Good. Now from there, take your arms by the ears, slide your other foot in, take it back, and you're gonna go to high lunge. Nice. So just taking a few moments to feel this side. You don't have the knee down. Try to get the integrity of the hips, slide that front hip back, pull up in the belly. Maybe even lift the toes up of the front foot. But maintaining breathing. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step that foot back. Option to Chaturanga Vinyasa. Halfway or all the way. Big breath in. And then back to down dog. Okay, left leg goes back. Keep it on the floor. If you have the socks, of course. Knee to the chest. Pull forward. Go again, left leg back. Pull the low belly and knee in. One more. Pull it in. Step the foot through. Draw your back knee down, arms up. High lunge. Again, you can hook. Do the things that resonate. Find the center of your breath. Take the inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down. Nice, baby girl. Lean back. So I'm gonna lean all the way back. Come lay down, Kelly. Be careful with your knees. Yeah.
Hi, Callie.
She's so funny. Take one more breath in this one. Pull forward. Lift your back knee off the ground. Come to the forward fold. Keep the foot connected to the floor. Inhale, take the arms out. Slide your right leg out. Keep the bend in your knees. Shift your weight. Come in, arms to the ears. So you're almost like a half chair. Slide your left leg back. High lunge. Breathe. Getting the legs nice and warm. Notice if you are doing the sock thing, is it so much harder to kind of maintain the distance of the feet? The dogs are in a mood today. Lay down, Higby. Yeah, because the socks definitely, they don't give you as much of a hold of the ground. Like you really have to use the hip muscles to sustain this. Bring the hands down, take it back. Optional Chaturanga Vinyasa. And then back to down dog. Okay, let's move a little bit. Inhale, right leg goes back. Exhale, slide it forward. Draw the knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands down, hips back. Inhale, stretch it. Think like prepare like a bow pulling back. Exhale, sling forward, fold. Inhale, slide that left leg out. Exhale, switch your weight, arms by the ears. Inhale, bring it into your high lunge. And then exhale, hands down, foot back, Chaturanga Vinyasa. Good, left leg back. Exhale, slide it through. Knee down, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands back. Inhale, swing it back. Exhale, sling forward, step the foot through. Inhale, slide out. Exhale, shift your weight. Inhale, arms by the ears, slide it in, swing it back, high lunge. And then exhale, hands down, Chaturanga. Back bend, back to down dog. Let's add on. Swing the leg back, swing it forward. Arms up, hands down, hips back, prepare. Swing it forward, fold forward. Arms out, leg out, shift your weight. Arms by the ears, swing it in, swing it back. High lunge, soften your back knee. Shift your weight, right leg up. Whew. Okay, so you can stay with this the whole time, right? Just having this alignment where you're using the hip flexion, but also the low belly and the arms to lift you out of that space, hopefully still breathing. You can also take 2 peace fingers to your big toe, hug your knee in, and you can kick forward. And in this, you don't want to let your bottom knee bend, right? Make sure the top leg stays more bent, but the bottom leg is pulling out of the joint line. If this feels pretty good, use your belly. You can pull your chest towards the leg. with your arm strength. We are going to take the arms out of the equation though in a moment, so breathe. Now do your best. The leg can lower as much as it needs to. Arms up. Squeeze that underbet. Push the ground away. Lift, 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 lift. Flex the toes. Swing it, standing split. Bend your standing knee as much as necessary to feel grounded through the palms. You want to level the pelvis, right? So you can always take one hand to the low back so you're not swaying open like half moon or dipping into the standing outer hip. Look at where your toes are pointing at the base and your standing knee. And those of you that have a handstand practice, this is a great place to bring it in if you want to. Make sure you have enough bend in the standing leg to where you feel like you have the ground. We're gonna swing it all the way back up to standing. So start with your top knee bending, a little bend in your standing leg as well. Come all the way upright. Can be one swift gesture. Grab that big toe again if you're grabbing it. You can also stay just like this. Now he and I are gonna have to adjust a little bit. From here, kick forward, and then go out to the side. Maybe counterbalance with that other arm, reaching out. I'm gonna show that for them, Gavin. Yeah, this could also be where you land. Just holding that knee up. Good. From here, you're gonna take that right leg, let go, and take it back, warrior two. Whew. I'm feeling lots of things in this standing hip. Okay, we're gonna take a reverse warrior. So you're gonna take that left hand, go up and back, stretch, 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 and just give yourself a moment to feel more support from the low belly and an isolation of length from your outer front hip, from this top space, all the way along that left armpit to the left fingertips. Shorten the stance if it's really challenging to hold with the socks especially. Big breath in. And exhale, hands to the ground. Go ahead and step forward. Bend the knees, put the hands down. Play with your slide back again, maybe pressing up. Toes, 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 toes. Chaturanga option. Back bend with your up dog. And then back to down dog. Good job, guys. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, swing it through. Draw the knee down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, launch it back. Exhale, take off to the fold. We're gonna go to the right. Inhale, arms out, slide. Exhale, shift your weight. Inhale, arms up, leg in, leg back, left leg back, high lunge. Good. Okay, take this back leg, lift it up. Now we can, again, stay here if you wanna work towards just a little bit of leverage, 2 peace fingers to the big toes. Try not to just let this go. We're trying to find that inner thigh engagement into the center. You can kick out. Don't let this buckle at the bottom. Bend the top knee to help you get out of that space. Maybe you fold. Maybe you just lift. Just depends. There's lots of different directions it can go. And then arms up. Whew. Try to hold it. Use the belly. Try to drop the hip, lift through the front. And then swing it back. Trying to find your standing split with level hips. Bend your standing knee as an option to level that left hip down, pull that right hip up. Right, this is essentially, if you really bend your standing knee and push through the ball of your back foot, this is our low lunge. Right, and we wouldn't splay open unintentionally there either. So this can kind of show it to you in a different perspective. If you are handstanding, I'm going to show you on this side what you could kind of play with. Just slow kicks with the thigh into the chest can eventually help you figure out how to hold that balance. But be very gentle with yourself. Dropping the head is an option. Okay, get ready. Soften the standing leg, bend the top leg, stand all the way back up. Grab the foot. Kick forward, kick out to the side. You can counterbalance with that other arm. You can take it up, you can relax it down. Good. Chest tall. We're gonna step it back, bend that top knee a little bit. Warrior two. Again, shorten the stance a little bit if it helps you maintain the grounding. Pull forward. Flip your right hand up and back, reverse it. If you start to feel like your front knee is sliding inward, try to take that front hip and pull it back. Then pull up in the belly and then open the chest. But you don't want to sacrifice your knee to get those hips more square to one side. Last breath in. Hands to the ground, step forward first. Give us another opportunity to play with that press up. So you're gonna bend the knees, push through the palms, gaze forward, and then slowly slide the feet back to plank. Optional chaturanga. Back bend with the breath in, and then exhale, take it back. Okay, we're gonna move back our shape a little bit so that we can come towards you guys this next sequence. First, let's just take a breath. Exhale everything out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Find your ground. Let the head go. Take the right leg back. Inhale. Exhale, bring it through. Similar start, back knee down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. We're gonna take the hands a little bit more in front of us this time. Instead of going back in the hips, we're going to shift forward by letting that back leg slide and bringing yourself into a toe stand. Good, so we're doing toe stand with legs together all the way, hugging at the ankle bones. You can stay with your hands down or start to walk yourself up. This can also be where you stay. Hug in at the knees, push at the palms. Now we won't want to be kind of dropping into the knees. Hug up a little higher than you think you can go. Let's lift up a little higher. A little bit higher. Keep the heels up. A little bit higher, squeeze your center line. A little bit higher. All the way to straight legs, heels are up. Squeeze in with the arms up if you want to challenge. Stretch, and then slowly start to come back to where we started. Bend, 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 bend. Nice, all the way down. Good. Okay, from here, you're gonna take your hands in front of you. You're gonna drop the right knee down, take your left leg out. And then eventually, we're kind of close to the camera, but eventually, you're gonna take, we get that back foot where the ball of the heel is down, the knee is underneath the hip, and that back heel should be somewhat in line with your knee or your left hip. From here, we're gonna do some circling movements. You're gonna make sure that the outer edge of the foot is down, so you're not super far away from yourself if you need to be. We're gonna take the left hand, so same arm as leg that's out, go up and over. So kind of think like reversing your warrior. And then we're gonna circle it around, take your right arm behind you, and go back, hips forward. Good, do it again. Go around, stretch that side body out, and then go around, lift through the hips. Go around, stretch it out, and then around, feel the hips forward. Go one more time. And then last back bend. Good, come all the way back. Put your hands underneath your shoulders, shift forward. Lift your right knee off the ground with the ball of your foot down. Hover, chin forward. Good, so challenging part, we're gonna have to kind of work with each other, but you're gonna lift your outer leg up and back to down dog with 3 legs. Shake it out. Okay, so let's play with some more fun movement here. So I'm gonna give us a little bit of space. You're gonna keep your left leg working. You're gonna bend it. You're gonna put it through the right arm and the right leg. Lift up And then you're gonna go back. So I'm keeping it kind of turned out, but you could think of this kind of like a three-legged flipped dog from the front. So you would flip both feet parallel and then go all the way back. Use the floor. You don't have to disconnect if you have the socks especially. And up, hips down, hand down. Let's do 2 more. Pull it through, connect with the feet, knees in line with toes, out, up. Last one, up, and back. Bring it to down dog, and then you can kind of choose if you want to move it all, chaturanga vinyasa, or just hang out here for a breath or 2. Okay, other side, left leg back. Exhale to step it through. Good, draw the knee down, give yourself a moment to feel grounded. Hands will come in front of you, right? We're gonna let the feet slide us in this position. We're gonna let this heel in the front lift up. We're gonna pull forward, knees in, hug at the ankles, slowly start to come up again. Yeah, hands to the heart. When you're pressing the palms towards each other though, as long as your wrists feel okay to do this, engage through the palm fully and then pull open at the elbows in the opposite way. So there's a lot of muscular energy happening there. Lift up halfway. Hug to the center, lift up another little bit. And then another little bit, let those heels stay lifted. And then another little bit, all the way to as straight as the legs can be. Hugging to that center line, arms can go up as a challenge. And then you're gonna slowly lower down, coming all the way back to that starting position. Good. Nice. From here, bring the hands in front of you. Let your left knee start to come down to the ground. The ball of your foot stays there. Your right leg will go out. Got that foot kind of in line with the hip. It might be a little far forward. I would say far forward is better than too far back. We're gonna go towards the leg that's out first. So you're gonna take wherever you want this arm, but to support it, side bend over towards that lifted leg. Yep, push the hips forward. Circle it back. Hand behind you wherever is comfortable. Think kickstand. And then go again. Swim it around. Lift up. Swim it back. And up. Keep it going. Only take it as far as you're feeling okay in your spine, your knees. This could be slower for you. You might hold a position longer, but reaching around that circle, use your back. Last round of it. Back bending. Okay, walk your hands in front of you again. Think like tabletop position with the kickstand of that right leg. Lift the knee off the ground. Hold it. Chin forward. Right leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Give yourself a moment there. We're gonna move into this kind of crossing over with the right leg. So you're gonna bend your right knee, put the foot down as soon as you can, slide it through the left hand, lift up, and you can keep this turned out if you feel comfortable with it, and then go back. I'll show the parallel version with the hips lifting, knees and toes in line, and then you lift it up and back. Keep it going. Through and up, back and back. Lift, up. Let's do one more after this. And then option, down dog, maybe plank. Find your chaturanga vinyasa. Back to down dog. Okay, so let's just layer onto this last bit. We're gonna take the right leg back. Exhale, step the foot through, draw the knee down. Take an inhale, look up. On your exhale, you're gonna take your hands forward. We're gonna do the same thing with the front leg we did earlier. Pull it to the ball of your foot, but this time, you're gonna let that front leg or the back leg slide through to the front. And we're gonna try to hold that left leg off the ground. Now, you might not be able to hold it there, so you're gonna just let the foot land on the ground. But if you're okay with it, keep the knees together, squeeze in, arms in front of you. definitely a lot. So be patient, you gotta breathe. Scoop the low belly, lift through the chest, use the underside of that standing leg. Hands can also stay on the ground like Gavin's doing too, which can give you a little bit of leverage. Okay, from here, we're gonna slowly lift it up to a standing split. Okay, let's take the chest out a little bit more for this version of standing split. Flex your top toes down to the ground, and then you're gonna roll the left hip on top of the right hip intentionally. So this is like our half moon. It looks a little bit like this from the side. Your bottom knee can be a little bent to have the ground, or use a block, lift up higher so you can get this leg straighter. But allowing a little bend in the knee allows you to find the muscle groups that help support the joint line. Top hand to hip, maybe arm up. Okay, we're gonna slide top leg back, warrior two. Back to where we started. Inhale, right arm up and back. Exhale, bring the hands on the inside of your right leg for your side angle, and then we're gonna slowly lift the back heel off the ground, and we're gonna take the hands down. Now from here, let's just keep a little bit more lift through the chest, looking up to the ceiling. Let that front hip or the back hip drop a little bit more, but keep this front knee into the side. You can widen the foot too. So it's a little bit more of a stretch, but we're also really working. Soften your back knee down, let the toes turn out, take it into a lizard. Draw down. Now elbows may come down, you may be very high up. You may do twisting here if that feels good. Get the back knee more in line with your back hip, and again, use something that will pad it if you are feeling sensitive there. Start to come back up to your hands. Take, if you've turned out, the foot flat again. Lift your back knee off the ground. Try to keep your hands on the ground. You're gonna slide your front foot on the outside of, or your back foot on the outside of your front left hand. Keep your right shoulder connected to your right knee. Let's take the arm around the leg. So binding. If this gets there, great, with two hands together. I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not. You can also do the half bind, keeping just the top arm, and then using your knee against your shoulder without the full hand underneath. We're gonna stand. So use your top hand to pull your bottom hand, shift your weight, and then start to come up. And you might get to the point where you can straighten this leg up. I'm kind of cheating because I'm sinking into like a faux tilt from dance, but just to show you kind of where it goes. The leg would go straight. Try not to do what I just did. You should be able to keep the leg there without the arms, but the arms really work too, to hug in. Last breath. Lower down. Release. Move it around. Option to play with the push back again. Maybe taking that half lift, leaning into the hands, coming up and up and up. One day the legs will just lift off the ground. Come to chaturanga. Again, all optional. Don't push too hard. Back to down dog. Okay. Other side. Left leg back. Bring it through. Put the knee down gently behind you so you can get some ground. Bring the hands in front of you. Shift forward, let the heel lift. Bring the leg all the way through behind you and up. For whatever reason, this side is way easier for me to hold. Yeah, I think we always have something that's stronger. I mean, I'm definitely a right-handed, right-legged, but you might feel like, wow, this side's a lot easier for balance. This side does not feel good in certain places. You can always rest with the foot down Arms out, but make sure we're still cultivating that lift. Good. Give yourself another big breath. Exhale, put the hands down, swing the leg up to your standing split. Good, and this time we are gonna take it into that half moon. So give yourself a moment to get the split feeling good, but ground through the palms, soft standing knee or a block to straighten, one hand down. Toes will flex down to show you where the hip is and then open to the right this time. And then eventually the arms go up. So yeah, you can kind of see the toes pointing out there. Ooh. Falling is an option for Trista. I don't know about for Gavin. Solid as a rock over there. Soften your standing knee. We're gonna swing it back, take it to warrior two. Ground first. Take that arm, reach it up and back. Inhale. On your exhale, you're gonna take the hand down on the inside of the leg. And then we're gonna take the other arm around, lift your back heel up, and initially just get to the point where you're a little wider, you're hugged in, and the hips are dropping, but we haven't completely sunk in yet. This is like the more active version of a lizard. Kick through the back leg, pull forward through the chest, hug in at that top front leg, push through the palms. So you're pretty much in plank. Your back leg can go a little wider though. Yeah, and the front leg can go wider too. Okay, let's let it melt a little bit. So draw the back knee down, untuck the toes, front toes out. They can turn out and the knee can go wide. You can give yourself a moment just to let that whole front hip span open. Take another breath. And exhale. Push up to your palms. So front toes forward again, so we're stable. Lift your back leg up. Slide that foot on the outside of the right hand. Start to open up to a bind, so we stay low in the legs. Take the left arm on the inside. You might fully open the arms and then take the hand around. More of a half bind with one hand down. I'm going to show that this time, so those of you that aren't quite getting the full bind, know you can still lift. It's just you don't have as much to hold on to. So you keep squeezing, and then eventually you just lift this way, right? And it might be more here, but eventually you're going to try to close the gap between your thigh and your torso, right? So this hip fold, you can even hold it too. I'd go from underneath though. If you're doing the full, and you're here, you can eventually straighten. Chest open, hug in at the arm as much as the arm is pushing back. And if you really want to test it, you could always just let go. Let's release. Slowly bring it back all the way to the ground. Yep, definitely move around a little bit. Nice, guys. Head heavy. Take your halfway lift, prepare the length of the spine, shift forward if you're doing the legs, sliding back with the socks. Chaturanga, back bend. This time bring the knees down, lean back into the knees and the hips, and just give yourself an elongated child's pose. I'm gonna keep it a little bit more upright. If your knees are, again, feeling sensitive, put something underneath the front. You can even put a blanket or something underneath the backs of your knees for those of you that have a little bit more tension in the quads, or it just feels like you can't quite bend there as much. If being in child's pose is not what you want, you can always come upright to a seat like this. Keep finding the breath. Center yourself around where you are in space. Exhale everything out. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Slowly start to come up to your hands. Give yourself a few cat-cows. We're gonna move into frog pose in a moment. So if you are against a hardwood floor like this, like we are, I'm actually gonna grab blankets for us. But if you're feeling okay on your mat, you could also, if you have your mat this direction, you could just flip yourself so your mat is underneath you this way. So I'm gonna grab for us, and we'll give Gavin this one. And he might have to adjust this a little bit, but essentially, I don't know if I'll really need one. Essentially, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna slowly keep your knees in line with your hips, but start to go out. As you start to go out, you don't wanna be pulling forward too far. You don't wanna be sliding back too much, right? Keep a 90-degree angle in your legs on each side. And then eventually you go down more. You might have to use blocks. You could put a pillow along your front, which for him, he might actually really like that. We have these big pillows for our couch that you can use. So he can kind of put his chest along the pillows. And this is one of those that, you know, you might feel this one pretty quickly. Don't go to your deepest deep. Let it slowly move open. Try flexing the toes up to the shins. Let's take a big breath in and a big breath out. So one step at a time. Push your hands down. You're going to slowly draw your knees back towards each other to a tabletop position. And then we're going to work our cow face legs. So let's do left leg. I know Instagram is flipped, so sorry if this is confusing. Just pick one leg up over the other. And you're going to take the knees towards each other. And you're gonna take the feet out. Now you may also need to use your pillows. You don't want your knees on the pillows. If anything, your pillows will start to go behind you and you'll sit on them. Or you can sit all the way down and this leg might have to lift up a little higher on the top. But eventually your feet will start to come forward. Think about moving the bottom leg's butt cheek away from that heel, the bottom leg's heel. Yeah, and then you allow that crossing instead of that opening we just came from. So it's quite countered. Now there's lots of things you can play with here. Just sitting in it can be enough. You can also straighten out this bottom leg if it's just like not happening for you. It doesn't feel right. If you feel like just playing with a little bit of cross movement, you can take the top armpit, the opposite armpit is the top leg, go across it, and then try to grab the heel of that foot with the same arm. and pull the chest over. And eventually you can swim this with the arms, which we've done before. It's super challenging, right? So you might have to release first for a while to get that movement across eventually. But if you do this enough times, you'll start to find that the negative space that you're having an issue reaching starts to close. But I find it very satisfying to hold that crossing feeling. So you would do, yep. Let's unravel this side. Remember what leg is on top. That's the leg you're going to put behind this time. So you can either lift the front leg or the back leg, come back to your neutral. So we're going to switch legs. So this time for us, our left leg is on top. Generally, it'll feel pretty different when you sit on it, unless you're just really open in both legs, I guess. This side for me does tend to be a little bit crunchier. No knee pain. Yeah, and if you're crossing, opposite armpit to top leg, pulling over, eventually think like knee in the armpit to grab that opposite foot. You can do the swims. I'm not gonna go through them today, but I'm just gonna hold this. Slowly unravel. This time though, we're gonna unravel just by lengthening the legs one at a time in front. So you can flex the feet, you can bend the knees, grab the feet this way from the big toes, from the outside. Just get to a point that feels good. You don't want to feel like you're tucked under behind yourself. You could also lift yourself higher, like with a block underneath your hips. Take one hand to each butt. You can just move that flesh out of the way. Arms up or just go for it. Reach for what you're reaching for. I would say definitely try to let the head go at least once or twice, if not the whole time. Notice if the shoulders are starting to come up to the neck. It's about letting that space not be the thing that moves, right? Try to get the full spine to lengthen over. Isolate it more. Lift all the way up. Bend the knees open. We'll take our butterfly shape. So with this, you just want to get to a point where you're not sitting back into the sit bones, right? Or too far forward into the pubic bone, but try to get centered on that triangle. Fold over. Allow the feet to come in together so you have this nice line from ball of foot pushing in to heel pushing in. No ankle pain. You could put your feet up on a block too if you want a little bit more height there. And slowly roll up. Take your hands to the knees, bring them in. And then from there, you're just gonna roll all the way down to your back. Yep, all the way down. With this next one, I'll face the side. Be very careful, especially those of you who are in socks. We're gonna do bridge. So you wanna make sure that you feel stable. If you are feeling like you need a little bit more, put a block between your knees as you lift up the feet. So we're gonna just get the feet, tips of fingers to where the heels are, and just lift. Squeeze the shoulder. Try to lengthen out this front of the pelvis space. Hug in at the knees, make sure the toes aren't turning out excessively. And we're spreading that low back space. Try not to crunch up. Your butt will engage, but if you're clenching so much together in the butt cheeks that you're feeling tension in your low back, think about underneath the butt cheeks lifting. You will be using your glutes, but sometimes we overpower it too much there. Strong place. Down with the booty first, then the low back. Let your knees move. If you have anything else that you are craving from this practice, play with it, right? Hugging your knees in, take it to Shavasana, plow pose. Just be safe, right? Make choices that work to bring balance into your body. Start to set your timer though, too, if you're gonna try to work a Shavasana a little bit longer today, right? Give yourself a goal. As usual, we're not gonna pull you out of Shavasana in our class, just so you have the option to play with the length of it. I haven't really planned a quote today, but I have one that I like, and it's a dancer quote too, so this kind of works for a class like this where it is more out of the box, it's more movement mechanics, a little bit more dancey, if you will. I think it was Isadora Duncan, but I could be wrong, but she said, you were wild once, don't let them tame you, right? So kind of finding your intuition and not conforming to what you think people would like more, but really doing what you love. Let's take a big breath together. Exhale everything out. Inhale, fill it up. And exhale. Thanks for joining us, guys. Namaste.